Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show podcast, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by Ray Ora.
Hey, everybody.
Jonathan Voico.
Good morning.
Chris Carr is here.
Hello, everyone.
And most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. And here's how our show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a number of predetermined topics we got lined up. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you have a topic or question you'd like us to address on the show, as long as we deem it appropriate to be addressed on our show, go ahead and fire it on into our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. If you send it in while we're live, we'll get around to answering in the second part of the show, again, if we deem it appropriate. But here's the good news about the tip link. It's actually good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you happen to be listening to our podcast feed, either on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your favorite podcasting app of choice, or maybe you're watching this video a little bit later in the day, you can still send in a question anytime you want, 24/7. And if you send one in when we're not actually live, we'll just get around to answering it on the next episode. Well, it is a good day today because a couple things. Number one, it is now officially, it's 5 days. 5 days until we pack on up into the car and head off to Vegas for CinemaCon. Very excited about that. But also tonight, it's Double D. 2 episodes, count them 2, of Daredevil Born Again tonight. A lot of people forgot. They are actually showing
we tried
episodes.
to forget Double D.
Yeah.
You taking all the D tonight.
There's so much.
That's what she said.
I mean, Daredevil, right?
Raymond.
You can't be
Twice.
screaming Double D and
2 Ds one night. Pay-per-view. Commercial free.
Well, at least there's no commercials.
2 Ds one time.
Really takes the magic away when they cut to
Behind the
commercial.
scenes.
All of a
Really
sudden you see a
behind.
Swiffer ad. What's even
No
happening?
commercials.
Like right behind.
The first topic, you guys.
We haven't even gotten to the first topic yet. I'm just telling people that
All
there's 2
access.
episodes of Daredevil tonight.
All access.
All right, never mind any of that. Try to have some fun around here. Oh my God.
So is Ray.
You're going to just say Daredevil, you know?
Oh my God.
But it's DD, and there's
Double-
2 episodes.
Double D.
So-
Double D.
But I get it. I get
J-E-double-F. Okay, anyway.
I'm not segmenting anything from that show.
All right, never mind all that. Let's just get into our topics here, shall we? We're going to start off with this. It's double A, aliens. Well, it's
Jeez, it's really not getting better.
Alien Earth is coming. Noah, I almost said Noah Wiley. No, what's the name of the director?
Noah Hawley.
Noah Hawley, not Noah Wiley.
Who's Noah Wiley?
He's
He's
in
the
he's in
star
the
of
pit.
the pit.
Yeah. And
I
ER.
see.
We are not off to a good start today. Okay, so Noah Hawley's, of course, he did the Fargo that everybody loves so much.
Oh, yeah,
and
double
he
that.
also did Legion, which is great. And he was going to do a Doctor Doom movie for Fox before Fox sold 20th Century over to Disney. Anyway, he's got this new Alien Earth coming. And I would have had zero interest in Alien Earth before seeing Alien Romulus. I thought, like Predator, I thought Aliens was a dead franchise. Then along came Alien Romulus, made me fall in love with aliens again. Now it's coming, and they have dropped their first real teaser. Has dropped online, and it looks terrifying. The folks over at the playlist wrote this. Over the weekend, new footage from FX's highly anticipated sci-fi horror series, Alien Earth, in the form of a clip/teaser made its way online via Joe Blow. The spin-off series takes place years before the events of the original Alien. I wonder if they're wrong about that. We'll get to that in a second. As a doomed ship with a xenomorph picking off crew members crash lands on Earth, leading to a group looking to survey the accident. And Timothy Oliphant's going to be in this. Man, this clip was so good. Like, just the dude sitting at the terminal, specimens have escaped, and the girls on the other side, open the door! It's coming! Open the door! And it turns around and she just, and then the way it just starts attacking her and, horrifying. And then saying we're crashing on Earth and all that kind of stuff. Look, like I said before, I am been very open with the fact that I had completely given up on both Predator and Alien franchises as both being dead. Then came along Prey, and I'm like, wow, Predator can be good again. And then came along Alien Romulus, and all of a sudden this Alien Earth, which when they first announced, I was like, okay, I am now really excited about this. I think, and of course, Noah Hawley has done great work, so he's got a good track record. I thought this looked fantastic. Anyway, Chris, this is, I'm sure, high on your list because you're a big Alien fan. Anyway, what did you think about the trailer?
The trailer's incredible. The sound on this is so good. Just the design of the keys clacking and the noises in the hallway and everything. Oh, it's incredible.
Almost as a Space Odyssey 2001 feel.
It definitely has that vibe. I also always love when we have the technology still feels true to that world that they established in Alien as well. I don't like when we see the big jump in technology when it's all like, no, that's not how this should be. Just because the movie took place, like was made in the 70s doesn't mean we should do that. I'm really intrigued and upset by this show.
Intrigued and upset.
I've only seen Prometheus and Alien, right? Those are the only ones I've seen. I still have to see Aliens. I still have to see other things. I was told not to see Romulus because I do such a bad job with body horror. And this is a TV show, though.
Yeah, on FX, the same network that gave us Sons of Anarchy, Shogun.
Yeah. They do excellent quality television, and because I'll be in the comfort of my own home, I can pause and walk away. I truly, the biggest part of me not going to see horror movies in theaters is because I don't want to ruin it for everyone else by being a big old baby. So I think I still might tune into this. She's an incredible actress too. She was on the show Never Have I Ever as the cousin on that of Debbie's cousin. So I'm sad that she's not long for this world. It looks like from this trailer, but
maybe she's
excited.
real fast.
Maybe she gets away.
Just a flesh wound.
I hope so. You know how it is with a xenomorph. You just get a little bite and you're fine.
It's satisfied.
Rub some dirt in it. You'll be good.
Anyway, it's funny. We're watching the trailer. And for those of you who watched the trailer, it starts off with the guy sitting at the terminal just typing to people and he's ignoring the girl. And Ray goes, oh, is his character deaf? And Jonathan, just so cold. Yes, Ray, he's deaf.
I mean,
Sent me.
you couldn't hear that? No. Somebody
Of course he could hear it. He was just ignoring her.
Oh, it flew over my head.
I was
then.
just in the middle of sitting down. I'm like, yeah, Ray, he's deaf.
Yeah, Ray.
I thought I was
He's
going to fall out of
deaf.
my chair.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. Did you watch this teaser for Alien Earth? It got all the classic aliens vibes to it. And I mean that in all the best possible ways. I loved it. What did you guys think of it? Whatever you guys thought, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right. With that down, guys, let's move on to this, shall we? An actor who had already been around for a little while, but that I really took notice of was when this little movie came out called Warm Bodies. Do you remember that one?
I
yeah.
love that movie so much.
It's a great trailer, too.
Because zombie movies are even some of the better ones, they're basically all the same. Some are better than others, but Warm Bodies was a really kind of fresh look at it. And Nicholas Hoult was the lead of the film. And that's where I really took notice of him and thought, this guy's really good. And he's gone beyond just being Beast in First Class. He is a world-class actor. He just did that Juror number 2.
Yeah.
He's absolutely phenomenal. He was great in, what was the one with Ray Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy? The Menu. Thank you. He was so good as that little worm in that. He's just always good.
You know what? He was even in, no one ever talks about it, but it was really good. The Order came out right before Juror number 2, where he plays like a neo-Nazi.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, that was powerful.
I never
He was
saw
even
that
in
one.
this C.S. Lewis movie a bunch of years ago. Anyway, he's utterly fantastic. Well, we just found out what his next project is. As the Hollywood Reporter is now telling us that Nicholas Hoult is to star in, of course, you'll remember from John Wick's, David Leitch's bank heist thriller for Amazon MGM. They wrote the following. Nicholas Hoult is signed on to star in the untitled bank heist thriller that David Leitch is directing for Amazon MGM Studios and Imagine Entertainment. The sources tell the Hollywood Reporter that the story centers on a group of savvy bank robbers who use social media to document their heists, playing a cat and mouse game with police. Bianculi and Imagine have spent the better part of 2 decades developing the project. According to sources, it's unclear who Hoult will play. Now, I'm excited about this for 3 reasons. Number one, already stated, I love Nicholas Hoult. I think he's a wonderful actor, and I love seeing him and stuff. By the way, he was like this close to playing Batman. It was down to him and Robert Pattinson.
About a boy.
About a boy. That's the new one for him. So he came that close, being that. But I mean, I think the guy is great. Second reason I'm really excited about this. I am a sucker for heist films. Everybody, I've always talked about this. I'm a huge sucker for heist films. And the whole idea of them like chronicling their bank heists on social media is such a modern thing to do. So I'm totally down for that. I love bank heist movies.
So they're influencer robbers.
Yes, they're influencer robbers. So influencer Smurf will be going along with
Good.
us.
So this is just spring break.
Yes.
All right.
And
Nicholas
then-
Hoult in a bikini.
David Leitch. I mean, besides like being the producer of the original John Wick and being responsible for bringing us John Wick, look at the movies he's directed. I like all of them. Fall Guy, which I thought was great.
Bullet Train was fun.
Bullet Train was great. I like Fast and the Furious Hobbs and Shaw. I like that movie. Then, of course, he did Deadpool 2. I like Atomic Blonde. I just really like this guy's sensibilities when it comes to directing fun action flicks. And for him to do a bank heist action thriller with Nicholas Hoult, in the words of Robert Meyer Burnett, what's not to love? I mean, this sounds great to me. Sign me up. I'm excited about this. Anyway, Chris, you hear about this. Oh, and by the way, it should also be pointed out that in the article, they also do clarify in the Hollywood Reporter that it is going to be a theatrical release. Amazon MZM is making this a theatrical release. Anyway, Chris, you read this story. What stands out to you in it?
Oh man, well, Nicholas Hoult can do anything. I've loved this guy since About a Boy and Skins. He was incredible on that show. What a difficult watch. That show happened so that, Euphoria could run. And he's just been a consistently wonderful actor in everything he's done. I really enjoy him. And having David in the director's seat, I love everything that man does. Obviously, he did my favorite and only viewing of the Fast and Furious franchise.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw. It's a delight. It's a great time. So I feel like this is going to be a really fun match. Like you, I really enjoy a heist movie. I love some kind of like bank thriller situation. And it's going to be action packed with him behind it. So that's what I'm really excited about is we should have some fun, interesting intrigue of how the heist is going to be conducted, but that the action is also going to deliver as well. So it should get both hemispheres of your brain working really well while you're watching it.
Listen, I if you have not seen it, I clearly Jonathan as well would highly recommend seeing Bullet Train. It's such a fun movie.
And I've said this before on the show, but I'm a sucker for movies that take place on trains.
Oh yeah.
So that right there, that's like, okay, that notched up. It's fun.
Bullet Train's
It's just
so fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cannot wait to see this. Anyway, so you match him up with this director. I'm expecting big things. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, listen, there's still a lot for us to find out, but the whole idea about the bank heist with the whole modern thing of reliance on social media and fame seeking and all that kind of stuff, I think this could be brilliant. Whatever you guys think about this, jump down to the comments section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? As previously stated tonight, Daredevil is got 2 episodes dropping tonight, and I'm very excited about that. Now listen, ever since we found out that John Bernthal's Punisher was coming back in and that they reworked Daredevil Born Again so that it would be connected to the Netflix series, because remember, originally it was not going to be connected to the Netflix series. Right. One of the characters people have really speculated about was Krysten Ritter's Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones was a very popular series for them on Netflix. I'm going to admit, I'm kind of the odd guy out. I found the show borderline insufferable.
The first season?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Despite the fact that they had an amazing villain. You know what? Insufferable was too strong. That's too strong. I didn't like it. I didn't like Jessica Jones. You know what the really big frustrating thing for me is? I hate it when our main protagonists in movies don't have personal journeys in it. So like when the show started, episode 1, she's kind of a semi-drunk, kind of rejecting everything else, just doing her PI thing, sitting at her desk. The season literally ends with her semi-drunk with a bottle, sitting at her desk, rejecting everything, just taking calls for the next case.
Sounds
So like
she's living the
literally
dream to me.
Yeah.
she ends in the exact same position she started in the show. Like there was no change in her.
She's Gregory House.
She's already made it. She's already achieved.
By the way, I really like Krysten Ritter though. Like I like her a lot. What was that show she was in? The Bee.
Don't
Next-
trust the bee in
Bee-
apartment 23.
yeah.
That was it. She was delightful in
And
that.
of course,
love
she
that.
had a short stint on Breaking Bad.
Yep.
Sadly.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Very-
wasn't she just in Sonic 3?
Yep.
Yes.
She was.
That's right.
Yeah.
She popped in for
She
a
just was
quick
randomly
little
in
thing.
there.
Yeah,
in
that
Sonic
was the
3.
one thing I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't trust the bee though. I constantly yell at people. Y'all want to play Mario Party and get weird?
so a lot of people have been wondering if she'll be a part of it. Actually, a lot of people just assume she's going to be a part of it. Well, according to a new interview with her, she's not. She says she'd love to be in it. She says she's ready to go, and she says hopefully it can happen. But as of right now, according to this story, I get asked about it almost every day and about her possible return. And she said this, per CBS Mornings. So she's being interviewed with CBS. Ritter was asked about the possibility of playing Jessica Jones again in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She made it clear how much she still loves the character, reaffirming that she would be happy to reprise the role if asked. The problem, according to Ritter, is that she still has yet to receive that call. While it's not unusual for actors to deny MCU appearances in order to keep them secret, Ritter's comments suggest that there are still no plans in place at this time for Jessica to be involved with Daredevil Born Again. She said, "Listen, I love Jessica Jones," Ritter said. "I think it's so exciting that there seems to be such an appetite to see her again. I get asked about it almost every day. We remain cautiously optimistic, and I hope I get to do it." When asked to confirm if she would do it if asked, Ritter replied, "Of course. If they asked me, I would be there ready. I may or may not still have the jacket that I stole from the set of the first time," which is great. She should have every right to steal that jacket. All right. Look, 1% of the time when actors say they're not in something, they are. 99% of the time when actors say they're not in something, they aren't. But that 1%, in our best Harry or Lloyd, you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I absolutely believe her. And the reason I believe her is because of how she's not doing if I got presented with the right story or anything like that. She's straight up saying, I would love to come back. I want to do it. I'm ready to go. It's still possible. I'm just waiting for the phone to ring, blah, blah. So I kind of believe her here when she says that she hasn't gotten the call. By the way, side note, they are already shooting Daredevil season 2 right now. Actually, some set photos of Karen in a wig have already come out and leaked.
Karen.
In a wild wig have already come out. So it's already shooting. Now, this does not mean it's impossible for her to still come back. They could give her a call and say, we want you in for a day or two, or set something else up, I suppose. But as of right now, I kind of believe it. Anyway, Chris, I know you don't believe anybody.
No, I trust or love no one.
But
No one.
does she convince you that she hasn't actually been given the call yet? What do you think?
I feel like because it's been such an uphill battle having any of the Netflix characters return to form. I mean, it took people begging and pleading for Foggy and Karen to show up, and then look what they did.
Yeah, we'll show you. You want Foggy? I'll show
You want Foggy back? Sure, you can have Foggy
Yeah,
back.
I'll show you Foggy.
I'll show you Foggy.
But I think she's going to get the call. I believe her that they're not really talking yet, but we've already had the people behind this show talking about how moving forward it's going to be about, Matt probably potentially setting up the Defenders again, setting up some kind of team, all of that kind of stuff, if that rumor is true as well. So I feel like she's going to show up in here, and honestly, that kind of journey could be hey, Krysten, we're going to need you on set for 3 days. Because we're going to just do something where you pop in and out. And it's, Matt finds you at a bar.
Right.
And he tries to talk to you. And then at the very end, you pop back up again and say you're in or whatever.
Well, it's just like with Punisher. I'm sure they shot all of his scenes because he only appears like a few times in
Yeah.
the series.
So let's just get you
Yeah.
in and out of here. So I feel like we still have an absolute chance of having Jessica Jones in this show. But Krysten Ritter is one, to your point, she's not doing the typical actor PR of,
Yeah.
as long as it's a really worthwhile script, as long as they give me something new to play with. She's like, no, I want to drink whiskey and punch people while wearing a leather jacket. Call me. So I feel like this is probably true. She's probably being truthful about this, but I think we'll see her still.
Yeah, but because again, I want to point out, even if she is telling the truth, that doesn't mean it's not possible that her phone does ring,
Right.
and we do see her and stuff. It,
Yeah.
it makes it unlikely, but it's not impossible. You know what? I just found out recently.
What?
I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know what was the basis for this assumption. For years, I thought she was John Ritter's daughter.
I thought so.
Oh.
For years. It was only like a couple of months ago that somebody mentioned that she's not John Ritter's daughter. I'm like, no, yeah, I'm pretty sure she is. No, and then when I found out that she wasn't, I'm like, why did I mean, aside from the same last name, why did I don't know why I ever believed it, but she is not John Ritter's daughter. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Krysten Ritter, star of Jessica Jones, is saying that she has not been contacted about maybe reprising her role as Jessica Jones in Daredevil or the MCU. Number one, do you believe her? And number two, if you do believe her, do you still believe that still leaves a chance that she still could come back at some point? Would you want to see her come back? Maybe popping up in somebody else's show, maybe a Jessica Jones new season? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, we still have a few other things to talk about, including, speaking of denials, everybody's been assuming Scarlet Witch is going to be in Doomsday and Secret Wars. Well, according to a new interview in The Hollywood Reporter, Elizabeth Olsen has confirmed she is not going to be in either of those films. We'll talk about that. And want to see 5 minutes of Superman? Well, go see Minecraft, because apparently, according to a story going out there, Minecraft in IMAX is going to open with a 5-minute clip of the new Superman movie. We're going to talk about that and a few things more. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second and thank one of the sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show, our friends at Kikoff. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Kikoff. Man, time flies, doesn't it? 1 minute, you're reminiscing about your last vacation, and the next, you're thinking about major life goals, like buying a car, getting that dream home. But if your credit isn't where it needs to be, those goals can feel out of reach. And that's where Kikoff comes in, the #1 credit building app in the App Store that makes it easy, affordable, and stress-free to build credit fast. And that's exactly why I love Kikoff. They give you a credit line for just building credit, not for spending. Your on-time payments get reported to the 3 major credit bureaus, helping you improve your credit mix and payment history, 2 of the biggest factors in credit growth. If your credit is under 600, you could see a jump of about 28 points in your first month. No credit check, no hidden fees, no interest, just smart credit building. Building credit can happen faster than you expect with Kikoff. Don't wait. Get your first month for just $1 at getkikoff.com/Campea. That's kickoff without the C. Get 80% off at getkikoff.com/Campea. Must sign up via getkickoff.com/Campea to activate offer. Offer applies to new customers first month only, subject to approval. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions may apply. Point stat based on Equifax Vantage Score 3.0 changes for Kikoff users starting under 600 who made their first on-time payment between January of 2021 and March of 2024. Payment and credit activity outside Kikoff can have an impact on your credit. Individual results may vary. And thank you to our friends at Kikoff for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. Okay, guys, with that down, let's move on to this. Elizabeth Olsen has apparently confirmed that she is not going to be in Avengers Doomsday or Avengers Secret Wars. Now, of course, Elizabeth Olsen plays Scarlet Witch. She was the main centerpiece of the best show Disney Plus has ever done, at least on the Marvel side with WandaVision. And then, of course, had a pivotal character turn in Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. And then, even though you never see her, she plays a very real presence in Agatha All Along. The speculation and the assumption has been around a lot of people has been that she's going to come back and going to play maybe not the lead role, but a key role, an important role in the upcoming Avengers movies, Doomsday and Secret Wars. It's gotten to the point that I think a lot of people just have now assumed that that's what's happening. Well, she recently sat down and did an interview with the Hollywood Reporter in which she confirmed to them she ain't doing it. This, again, comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter, wrote the following. As for the future of her fan favorite Marvel character, Olsen confirms that she's not going to be a part of the Russo brothers' 2 upcoming Avengers movies, Doomsday and Secret Wars. The back-to-back productions are gearing up to shoot in London soon, and Olsen just returned to the US after wrapping Sam Esmail's Panic carefully in London. I'm moving on to filming a pilot for FX called Seven Sisters, Olsen added. So not a lot of pomp and circumstance, not a lot of explanations or setup or anything. Just she told the Hollywood Reporter interviewer she's not going to be in those 2 movies. Now, this is interesting for a couple of reasons. Number one, I believe people said they spotted her in some of that leaked concept art that came out. So that would cast that completely into doubt, which some people have been doubting it anyway, but still that cast that completely into doubt. But it also kind of goes against what has been the commonly accepted refrain that, in Agatha all along, they had the opportunity. For those of you who didn't see the show, it was pretty good. Apparently a lot of people did watch it, but for those of you who didn't see it, they had an opportunity to put the final period on the issue that Scarlet Witch is dead. In a scene in which Wanda's son asks Agatha, "Is she dead?" To which Agatha replies, "Yes. No. Maybe." So they even left that incredibly ambiguous that she could come back. And listen, even if she doesn't come back for Doomsday or Secret Wars, that doesn't mean she ain't ever coming back. I mean, the door is still there. The door is still open for them to bring her back sometime. But she has just come out and just told the reporter, I'm not in either of those 2 movies. So there's that. I don't see this as, like, if you look at, say, the Andrew Garfield situation with Spider-Man movie, right? I don't see this as one of those situations where I think Marvel learned, because you got to remember, more than a year before Spider-Man No Way Home came out, outlets were reporting Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are going to be in this movie. Like the information got out. Whether or not a lot of people believed it or not was another thing, but over a year that came out. I think Marvel's got to understand they're not going to be able to keep that kind of thing secret. The other kind of flip side to that is that the story just may not require her. Now, yes, listen, she could be deceiving them, but I have a feeling if Scarlet Witch is in this, she'll probably be a part of the marketing campaign. That would be my guess. So what would be the point of denying being in it? I don't know. Like, Chris, to me, this isn't as clear cut as the Krysten Ritter one. Because, Krysten Ritter, like, everything she said really does track with, she really doesn't think she's going to be in Daredevil. Yeah. This, we don't even get what the direct quote was. We just have the Hollywood Reporter writer telling us she has confirmed to me that she's not going to be in either of those. So I don't know if I believe it as much as I believe the Krysten Ritter one. But I'm in the kind of the position with this is, what would be the point of hiding that she'd be in it? It's not like an Andrew Garfield thing where Andrew Garfield was a part of a completely different cinematic universe, a completely different Spider-Man franchise, and him appearing. Scarlet Witch has been in the MCU. We know she's in the MCU. Yeah. So I tend to believe her. Maybe just not as much as I believe Krysten Ritter when she says she's not going to be. I don't know. You hear this. Does this track for you? What do you think?
Well, reading the article, she does talk extensively, Olsen talks extensively about how important her non-Marvel choices are, particularly at this juncture in her career. And the full quote doing this, your taste does not create the artist that you are, and that wasn't something I was thinking when I first started working. So the opportunity to return to films like The Assessment is a reflection of the people I want to work with and my own personal taste, which is a really polite way, I feel, of saying, I'm not super into these Marvel things. I'm glad I did them, but I want to do more art house stuff. I want to do more indie things. I want to do those kinds of things. Now, that's not to say that she won't pop up in this movie still. Again, I just think this means, hey, you're probably not a huge part of it. Maybe she's not going to be in here at all. Maybe she is going to focus on this new pilot and these other films and everything. But also, she could just pop in for a second to do a quick little cameo in the film, essentially. Or Scarlet Witch could appear in this movie, but maybe not Olsen. Right? We could have some other footage. We could have a body double from the back. We see Wanda get just like got really quickly or something.
Or it's just another person playing the role.
Exactly.
It is multiverse after
Multiverse
all.
of Madness. Yeah, we have, John Krasinski shows up as Scarlet Witch. We'd love that for him. Be fabulous. So I feel like there's still definitely the potential of Wanda being in this. I just don't know if it's going to be her Wanda.
Right. So
So if you look at the shape and you're just doing what you're saying, where it's just from the behind shot, Paul Walter Hauser.
Paul Walter Hauser.
Oh my gosh.
Same body type.
He can do anything though, so I'd believe it.
So I
He's
mean, so
incredible.
you could be ostensibly saying that yes, Elizabeth Olsen will not be in the movies, but Scarlet Witch could be, just being played by somebody else. And you brought up the perfect example of John Krasinski. John Krasinski is not going to be the ongoing Reed Richards, but in that universe, Reed Richards looked like Jim from The Office. So that kind of tracks. Again, I think this would break a lot of people's March Madness brackets, though, in their guessing about what's going to be happening in Doomsday and Secret Wars, because a lot of people believe and are relying with their theories on Scarlet Witch being in there. Maybe she is, maybe she is not.
I mean, her reasons seem to be more, I think more, I believe her reasons more than any other person denying a return. Like, she wants those movies that Chris was.
Yeah,
Chris
she
was
made,
talking
listen,
about.
Yeah.
She wants that.
She made that
wants
statement before.
she said before, like, I need to separate myself from this stuff. She goes, I love it. I absolutely love it. But it's just so encompassing.
Right.
And listen, if she was going to be a significant character in Doomsday and Secret Wars, we're talking about tying her up for like a couple of years.
Yeah, if you want.
By the way, in that Seven Sisters, I think she's doing it with Alicia Vikander.
Oh yeah, she is. She
Ooh.
is.
She is? Yeah,
She is.
like
Okay.
that's a power team.
The premise for that movie is weird too.
I think-
It's creepy.
I think the fact that signing on for such a big character in the MCU, it took a lot of years away from her too. That
Oh
she,
no,
you
it
know,
did. Yeah,
She,
she talked a lot about like projects and movies she was really in love with and really wanted to do, but she couldn't because she was obligated to have her schedule available.
she
for
wants to make
Marvel.
her mark. Make
Yeah.
her mark in Hollywood as a real serious actor. Like, and you start that groundwork during these years. You know what I mean? And you can't do that if you're just doing comic book movies for 7 straight years.
Well, guys, question is for you. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Elizabeth Olsen has confirmed she is not going to be in Doomsday and Secret Wars. Do you believe her? I mean, it does kind of track with everything she said. Maybe like Chris suggested, she's not there, but that doesn't mean Scarlet Witch isn't there. Maybe just being played by a different performer. I don't know. How do you see this shaking out? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? I don't know if it's going to be the best film of the year, but I know my most anticipated film of the year is Superman. I cannot wait for this movie. I am so excited about it. The start of a brand new cinematic universe for DC. I have loved just about everything James Gunn has ever made. By the way, I still think the best movie he's ever made is Slither. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go check it out. It's absolutely fantastic. And everything's looking good. Well, it looks like you might be getting a little bit of a look, an extended look at Superman sooner than you think. Because according to a story going around today, that I believe in front of IMAX screens in Thailand, which would probably mean other places in the world as well, they're going to be playing, according to this headline, a full 5-minute preview. A lot of people are speculating it's going to be the opening 5 minutes of the movie. A full 5-minute preview for James Gunn's Superman is set to screen in theaters ahead of Minecraft of all movies.
Let's go.
In Thailand next month. Some people are now pointing out that actual movie theater chains in Thailand are now advertising it, that you're going to get 5 minutes of Superman in front of this. As a side personal selfish note, I am bummed out at this because they're saying this is going to be April 3rd is when Minecraft will debut in Thailand and when they're going to launch the first 5 minutes there. Warner Brothers presentation at CinemaCon is on April 1st. Which means, I told Jonathan this, my hopes and dreams, I think of them showing us a full Superman screening may have just been dashed. They're probably going to give us the 5 minutes that they're going to be showing to everybody else. I'm sure James Gunn is going to be there. I'm sure David Cornsweat's going to come out on stage. I'm sure they're going to do all that kind of stuff. They're going to talk a lot about the movie, probably show us a lot of stills. But I'm now bummed out because now it probably is just going to be 5 minutes of this. But whatever. Now look, it is not a coincidence that Minecraft is also a Warner Brothers film. It is not new or unusual in the industry for a studio to try to create some kind of marketing synergy by having one of their big trailers opening up in front of one of their other movies. Now, who are they trying to benefit? Are they trying to benefit Superman? Probably not. Or are they trying to benefit Minecraft? They're like, hey man, I remember all the way back in the late 90s when Meet Joe Black played the Star Wars, the Phantom Menace trailer in front of it, and hundreds of thousands of people literally bought movie tickets to go see Meet Joe Black. And then as soon as the Star Wars trailer ended, got up and left the theater, whatever, as long as they bought those tickets. So maybe this is a way for them to try to get more people to buy Minecraft tickets. I don't know, but this is pretty cool.
I think your worst nightmare is about to come true. It might be it's a good thing for me, but I think Warner Brothers is probably going to screen Minecraft. What do you think about that? To us for free.
Shut your whore mouth.
That makes sense though, right?
Oh,
I mean, I was thinking the same thing, but I like.
So
my job.
you traded in Superman screening
it does make sense.
and I will be there and watch it because
I'll watch it.
I want to see this movie.
I'll give it a shot. Listen, just because a movie doesn't look so good to me never stops me, because like I love it. You've seen it happen often, right? Where there's been a movie that I thought looks kind of dumb, but then I go check it out and I end up loving it. I hope that happens with Minecraft. I don't expect it'll happen with Minecraft, but I hope it'll happen with Minecraft.
But it's like the only place you can actually walk out of a theater and not feel bad. Like really feel bad.
CinemaCon?
Yeah. Because if you don't like something, you just walk
I will remind you of the first time we went to CinemaCon.
Zookeeper.
And Zookeeper. You can walk out not having had a good time.
Yeah. You
Boogeyman.
can walk out.
The very first full screening we ever saw at a CinemaCon many years ago was Kevin James's Zookeeper.
The problem was
not very good.
We picked seats in the middle of the aisle. Minecraft movie, we got to pick seats that are at the end of the aisle so we could just get out.
Just quick story time. So we're at our first ever CinemaCon that we'd ever gone to. And we're sitting in the Celine Dion Theater in Caesar's Palace. And we are sitting literally around top movie executives.
Top men.
Here we go.
Top movie executives.
Top men.
And like both on the theatrical side and movie studio side.
Is this the why I'm the best story?
And we're sitting there watching Zookeeper, surrounded like with right around these top studio executives, theater executives, stuff like that. And I'm sitting there watching this admittedly bad movie. And as I'm watching the screen, I hear coming from beside me the loudest snoring.
I know.
And I look over and raise.
And John taps me and he says
I'm
to
like,
me in the most story, and he's like, dude, if you're going to sleep, you're going to leave or something, right?
Like, you got to get up and go. Like, all these executives are looking at us.
But this is where the story turns around. It turns. There's a twist.
What's the twist?
As I'm walking out of the aisle, one of those big movie studio heads was asleep too at the end. And I heard him snoring. I was like, see, I'm not the only one. And we saw how Zookeeper did. It didn't do nothing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's true. So that was our first experience. I expect a similar one if it is indeed going to be Minecraft. Man, if I just lost Superman for Minecraft, I'm going to be really pissed.
Anyways, for Superman, whatever they show, it just means hopefully they'll talk more about the movies after. I mean, I'm excited to hear about that. Superman, we're gonna see it, right? Even if they don't show us a 5-minute preview.
That's not the point of
But I want to
CinemaCon.
hear about Supergirl tomorrow. A woman.
They're not going to talk about Supergirl.
You don't think they're going to talk about any other properties?
No, they never do. They never talk about movies that are coming out. Like, remember, CinemaCon always talks about the movies that are coming out in the next 12 months.
Yeah, sorry.
So that's why. I mean, they might
Comic-Con.
mention something about
They'll do that at
Supergirl.
I always make that mistake. I'm
Comic-Con
sorry.
will have a big Supergirl thing, I think.
Darn.
So anyway, Chris, we've seen other movies do this. I believe, like, there was a Star Trek movie one of the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies where they showed like the first 7 minutes of The Hobbit in front of it. Do you remember that? They
That was just to trick Rob.
Yeah, it was just a trick.
That was just so they could get Robert Meyer Burnett in that theater.
But I mean, so we've seen this thing before. It's happened again since. What do you think of the idea of them maybe playing the first 5 minutes of Superman in front of Minecraft? Good move, bad move? I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's a good move because it'll make people go. But on the other hand, it does feel a little, hey, our movie's probably not great. Will you please come see it though? We'll show you
some Superman.
Yeah. It feels like when you get invited to a party and it's, hey, I know that they're not your favorite people, but it is an open bar. That's kind of what this feels like. And I could be totally wrong. Minecraft could end up being the most charming, wonderful film ever. So many kids love Minecraft.
Hope it is. Yeah.
I really do too. I love Jack Black. I love Jason Momoa. I would really like this to be a good movie, but it just feels like another little kind of stunt of, but we did give you this. So come see our movie.
It's like we have the license grab, like, you know, since we have the license, let's make a movie out of it. Hopefully
I mean, I'm definitely, like I told John today, if I was on the fence, if reviews are great, I'm going to see it either way.
Yeah.
But if they were bad, I mean, I have A-list. So I'm just going to go schedule it. I'll go in and check in, see the thing and leave.
Well,
Yeah.
see, I don't think we're in an era anymore. Because like back when the Phantom Menace thing happened, where hundreds of thousands or maybe even millions of people bought tickets to meet Joe Black just so they could see the trailer and then leave. Well, that was before YouTube,
Right.
right? Like we are going to probably, if this is all valid, we're probably going to be shown this 5 minutes, maybe even more at CinemaCon. Once it drops in front of this thing, they're probably going to put it out online. People are going to get to see it. I don't know that a lot of people are going to line up and buy tickets to Minecraft just so they can see the Superman trailer. But to like what Jonathan was just alluding to, I think if there are people who are on the fence about going to see Minecraft, kind of want to see it, kind of don't, not sure, maybe I will, and then you find out, oh, they're going to play the first 5 minutes of Superman before it. I think for that group of people, that could be a deciding factor as to whether or not they book their ticket and go see it.
And did the article say why specifically Thailand? I'm sorry if I
I just wonder maybe if that's the first market it's
like
opening
a
in.
test area.
What is the opening day for Minecraft? What's
April 3rd.
It is April, so that's also in Thailand. So I have a feeling if it is doing it in Thailand, I have a feeling it's also going to be here. I think Thailand just might be the only ones that they're advertising that they're going to be doing it in their IMAX screens. So if they're doing that there, I have a feeling they're going to be doing it here as well.
Yeah.
So I will still hold on to hope that when we get to CinemaCon, they're going to show us Superman.
Oh, it's April 4th. Sorry.
Oh, it's April 4th
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
which really means April 3rd.
Yeah, right.
As we all know. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? One way or the other, it sounds like we're going to be getting the first 5 minutes of Superman. Will you go to see Minecraft just to see it on the big screen? Are you one of those group of people who might have been kind of on the fence, like thinking about seeing Minecraft, maybe not? And will this be enough to kind of push you over the edge? Are you somebody who had no plans of seeing Minecraft, but maybe now this moves the needle for you, maybe to get to see it on the big screen? I don't know. However you guys feel about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we're going to take another quick moment and thank another sponsor of today's episode, our friends at PrizePicks. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, PrizePicks. Baseball season is officially here, and if you're not running your game on PrizePicks yet, you are seriously missing out. This is daily fantasy made easy, and it's how I keep every pitch exciting. You see, PrizePicks lets you pick more or less on player projections like strikeouts, RBIs, or hits, and that's it. I just cooked up my lineup for this week. I'm taking Shohei Ohtani for more than one home run and Julio Rodriguez for more than one stolen base. Whether it's baseball, basketball, or even esports, you can mix and match players from different sports sports for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your money. And the app is super intuitive. It takes under 60 seconds to lock in your picks. And here's a little bonus. Every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday, where you get select player projections at a discount. More value, more fun. So download the app today and use the code Campea to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. Download the app today and use the code Campea to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. And thank you to our friends at PrizePicks for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, with that down, let's get on to your stuff here, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up first?
Seconds from Disaster says, if you haven't yet, watch Happy Face on Paramount Plus. Only 2 episodes so far, but it's excellent. Dennis Quaid is a scary weird playing the Happy Face killer. Wow.
You know what? I really like Paramount Plus. I really do. It's not my favorite of the streaming service, but I quite like it. I've not even heard of this.
Yeah,
it's based on a true story. He's a real,
Oh, it is.
He's a not good Canadian kid who is a serial killer.
Wow.
I mean, I think Dennis Quaid's a really good actor.
Yeah.
I'll take a look and take a peek at it. Again,
I do love true crime stuff. So.
Yeah, so do I. I really do. But yeah, unfortunately, I've not even heard of this one yet so far. All right, what's next?
Duke Shoes, hey y'all, I heard you mention that Mahershala Ali may be too old to begin the Blade franchise, but we have to remember that Keanu Reeves was also 50 when he started John Wick, so I think Mahershala may be okay.
Yes, but here's where the problem comes in. John Wick was never meant to be a franchise, right? John Wick was never meant to be a franchise. I think if they had initially thought about, and also remember, people forget, back when John Wick came out, Keanu Reeves was not the globally beloved personality that he is today. He had kind of fallen off. Like, no controversies or anything, is not, can't, but his career went nowhere. He was in a bunch of low budget, after he did Matrix, nothing really happened for him.
He did that like weird, whatever that one was where like knocking or the girls not come to his door.
Yeah, but I think that was after John Wick.
That after?
That was after.
But he was
John
doing
Wick.
films like John Wick, so I remember when John Wick came out, I'm like, oh, another one. It'll probably be straight to video.
Yeah, and just for some reason, John Wick caught lightning in a bottle and blew up. So it was never going to be a franchise. It was just a small little kind of action film that they were doing, not big plans. And to your point, here we are now, a few years later, and Keanu Reeves is literally talking about one of the things that makes him hesitate about it doing anymore. It's like, my knees can't handle it anymore.
Yeah, it's
my
tough.
back can't handle it anymore, right? And now you're talking about Blade, where at minimum, at this point, Mahershala will be 3 years older than Keanu was.
Yeah.
And it is supposed to be a big major tentpole, and they would want him around for a good number of years. So it's not exactly an apples to apples comparison. But again, is it impossible? Absolutely not. It's not impossible. I just think there's just too much other drama surrounding it for it to actually happen.
With the amount of trouble they're having trying to get a good script together, I started taking it as in, hey, let's make a good one, and if people don't go see it, we could just leave it at that. Like with Blade, I mean. So it just came
Marvel
off to me
doesn't do that.
It feels like it came out that way to me, but I don't know why I was thinking that. But that was my mindset. So
Marvel, Kevin Feige, this is why, like, when they sign up their actors, they don't sign them to do a movie. They sign them on a 6-picture deal or an 8-picture deal. They always do these things not planning them to be one-shots. They want to, I mean, obviously if it tanks, then they won't do another one, but the plan is to always think longer term.
Not to mention Avengers tie-ins and all that.
Avengers tie-ins, all that kind of stuff. It's just looking more and more doubtful. Look, could it actually still happen? Absolutely, it's still possible that it happens. I'm just doubting it more and more by the day, but we'll see. All right, what's next?
Alex says, hi, John and crew. I beyond love Andor. If season 2 is significantly better than season 1, should season 2 be in the conversation of it being in the same league as the OG trilogy? Man, I have a feeling that it's going to be exceptional. The trailers have been exhilarating.
No, it won't. And the part of the reason why it won't is because there will never again be something like the original Star Wars trilogy. Because when the original Star Wars trilogy came out, there had never been anything like it.
Nah.
There just hadn't ever been anything like it. It changed culture. It changed pop culture. You'll never get anything like it. Now, if Andor can even just be as good as season 1, then it's up there amongst the best shows on TV. I mean, the season 1 was already nominated for best drama at the Emmys, the highest honor a show can get. So it'll be up there as far as great quality television, all that kind of stuff. But do you then put it in the same conversation as the original trilogy? It goes beyond just the quality of the show. It's also the impact it has and all that kind of stuff. And nothing will ever touch Star Wars on that level. At least not the original trilogy. So no, it won't be in the same conversation as the original trilogy, no matter how good the second season is. All right, what's next?
Okay, Kareem is a 3-parter. These are always kind of interesting. Movie and TV milestone anniversaries this month. Going back 30 years. First up 5 years ago, Onward, The Way Back, and Bloodshot.
Bloodshot.
I never saw Onward, but I thought.
Onward is so good, man. That's the one with Tom Holland and Chris Pratt.
Right. Yeah,
it's the animated
the
film.
brothers, right?
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Then we got 10 years ago, Chappie, Cinderella, and It Follows. I can't believe that's 10 years old.
It Follows was 10 years ago?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh my God.
15 years ago would be 2010, Alice in Wonderland, Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. You know what? Those weren't bad, those movies. Hot Tub Time Machine.
The first one was great.
I love this must be some kind of hot tub time machine. How to Train Your Dragon, Victorious. And then going back 20 years would be The Pacifier, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
The Pacifier.
And, The Office. Wow, 20 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, The Office, the first season of The Office.
Like
the North American version was 20 years ago. Yeah.
Like Grey's Anatomy, I could be like, that's 20 years ago. But The Office is 20 years? Wow.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Yeah. Then we go to 25, Final Destination. Man, a quarter century of Final Destination. The Road to El Dorado. And then 30, Tommy Boy, 30 years ago.
Tommy Boy. Man, listen, Hollywood is littered with great names that left us too early. Chris Farley is definitely one of them, man. I mean, all due respect, he wasn't the walking poster child of health and wellness.
No.
But that dude, you know what the key to him was? Fearlessness. He was a fearless performer. And I still think one of the single funniest things I have ever seen is the Saturday Night Live sketch with him and Patrick Stewart.
Swayze.
Sorry, Patrick Stewart.
That would be a different role.
That actually would have been
Totally
awesome.
different
Yeah.
sketch. Him and Patrick Swayze doing the Chippendales audition. It's like, and of course the Van Down by the River guy, but I mean the Chippendales sketch with him and Patrick Swayze is simply one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. And it's not just because Farley is an overweight guy dancing to beach. It's his whole performance in it.
Yeah.
Like he so believes it. You know, it's just great. And then of course movies of his like Tommy Boy and stuff like that. He is absolutely a guy who left us way too soon. Like the stuff that we never got from him, I lament. He was just so naturally gifted. Anyway. All right, what's next?
Danny B. Karaoke says, hello, John and crew. One of the Disney animation films they could do live action is Encanto. You could. My problem with this is that, like, when you go from 3D animation to a live action, it's sort of like, why? I get it when you went from 2D to live action, but...
Well, I mean, the thing... So this came up on... I did an open mic last night. And thank you to everybody who joined me on open mic last night. One of the questions... We were talking about the 3 best and the 3 worst live action Disney adaptations of their animated IP. And the question came up, like, what other things do they have that could still be done? And I said, they're kind of running out. At least of the classic ones. And so some people started mentioning him. Encanto was one of the ones that was mentioned. The problem is Encanto literally just came out like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
something like that.
A few years ago.
And I don't know that it's in the zeitgeist enough or popular enough to do a live action. adaptation, especially when they're looking at doing it. There's word going around right now that they're looking at doing an Encanto 2. So I don't think that would be one that would be on the books. Anyway, and I do like that movie, by the way. All right, what's next?
Thomas Bombadil says, "Hi team. Does anyone else find it hard to keep up with all the great shows airing these days?"
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. After the amazing Severance finale, I thought I'd get some time back, but tonight we get 2 episodes of, yeah, that's why it's Double D.
Double D, Double D.
And the first 2 episodes of The Studio. Oh, that, okay.
Wait, does that
man.
drop tonight?
Come on.
Is it?
I only have
Double
so
check
much.
that. Ray.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought The Studio dropped in a couple of days.
I
The
hope.
first episodes of The Studio drop tonight. Everybody is raving that this could be the best show of the year. My business manager, actually,
March 26th.
that's today. My
Episode
business
1.
manager.
Well, tomorrow's 26.
No, today's the 25th.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's tomorrow. So my business manager has actually seen the entire series,
Okay.
the entire season. And he said it's absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, one of the absolute best things he's ever watched.
Wow.
I'm like, all right. I mean, as far as the genre and as a comedy goes, I have been dying to watch this. Everybody has raved about it. I cannot wait to see it. Man, I am with you. Like, I have a very difficult time keeping up with with television stuff because, like, right now with stuff that's currently airing, The Pit, Reacher, Daredevil. Don't laugh, Matlock. I'm telling you, man, this show is great. You should really give Matlock a shot. It's really, really good. And on top of that, I'm now trying to get caught up on The Old Man with Jeff Bridges and Jonathan Lithgow.
Yeah. I want to, that's on my list for sure.
I'm on episode 5, season 1. This show's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get caught up on that. Then, of course, we got Andor coming out, and then we got Last of Us season 2 coming out, and by the way, there's this show out there right now that everybody is raving about called Adolescence. Everybody says this show's amazing. I haven't had a chance to start watching that one yet. There is so much good TV right now. Somebody in the live chat just said The Agency. Everybody said that's the Michael Fassbender one. Everybody
Right.
said that's really good. I still haven't got going on Lioness. Everybody's talking about that. I mean, I don't watch White Lotus, so I can give myself a pass on that. But still, there is so much good TV right now. It is really difficult to keep up. You got to make choices. Got to pick what you're gonna do,
Or throw away your TV.
or throw your TV away.
Yeah, just give it up.
All right, what's next?
Probably the healthiest decision. Marvel could never says Legion should never show up in the MCU. FX did a perfect show. If Legion shows up, he has to be a big bad. I have no faith they would do the character justice. He's overpowered as frack. I want him to show up, but I don't trust that he'd be done well. So that's sort of like how people
Based on what? You don't believe they do him well based on what?
Yeah, what if they
Their
end up-
inability to make Thanos a good character?
yeah, what if they do Sentry really well, and then you're going to be like, oh man.
Well, I mean, by the way, like almost nobody watched Legion. I did. I'm just saying, I just don't see what the basis is for saying they wouldn't do him well. Based on what? They've done most of their characters really well. Not all of them, but most of them.
That was Dan Stevens.
And yes, it was from
Beauty and
Downton
the
Abbey
Beast and Beauty and the
and
Beast.
Beauty and the Beast and
And
by the way, who was just in the Abigail.
Abigail.
the
and
vampire.
Godzilla. He was the dentist.
Oh, that's right. He was
Yeah.
the Godzilla's dental hygienist.
Dental plan.
I like him, by the way.
Yeah, he's great.
I just don't see why you would make the assumption that they wouldn't do him well. They've done, like, why was Killmonger not a good villain? I don't know. Anyway, so I think they could use him well, but that's something more. A Legion is something more you use later on. For those of you who don't know much about the character of Legion, depending on which story you're reading, because they've had different origins for Legion, one of the most commonly accepted ones is that Legion is the son of Professor Charles Xavier and I believe Moira McTaggart. And he is an ultra level telepath. Ultra level. They didn't really stick to the comic with the Legion show. And by the way, you guys often hear that my single favorite comic book storyline ever is Age of Apocalypse. Age of Apocalypse is started by Legion. Because Legion, he suddenly decides he wants to now be a good guy in some way. He wants to make his father proud. He wants to do something for his dad. So because I know the one person who's made my dad's life a living hell is Magneto. So I'm going to go back in time and I'm going to kill Magneto when he's younger. So that way my dad's whole life can be free of all the pain in the ass that Magneto caused him. The problem is, he goes back in time when Charles Xavier and Magneto are best friends, and just as Legion's about to kill Magneto, Charles saves his life and sacrifices himself, so Charles Xavier dies. That triggers Age of Apocalypse, because it imagines what the world would be today if we never had Charles Xavier to form the X-Men. And they were never there to stop the rise of Apocalypse and his horsemen. And Apocalypse takes over North America. And in the memory of his dead friend Charles Xavier, Magneto starts the X-Men, and he names them X after his friend Xavier. Anyway, I could sit here for hours and just go on the story about. But anyway, my favorite comic book story of all time is actually started by Legion. I think they could do him well, but it's not a character you use in, say, Doomsday or Secret Wars. That's a character you save until you really get your X-Men stories going. And I'm sure they will use Legion at some point. All right, what's next?
Matan says the Nintendo Switch falls on the same week as CinemaCon. Do you think they will get Mario Movie 2 or Zelda news in CinemaCon, or Nintendo doesn't want to have distractions for the new console?
CinemaCon does not talk about big movies coming out in 2 or 3 years. CinemaCon is the movie theaters. Remember, this is a convention of movie theaters. The studios come and give the movie theater owners from all over the world big presentations. But it's to focus on the movies that are coming out in their theaters in the next 12 months. So it's not a fan event. Like, Sony isn't going to come out and talk about, we're here today to announce in 2027. No, that doesn't happen at CinemaCon. The reason they're able to show us all this footage and all these screenings and all these scenes is because these are all movies coming out within the next year. So I don't expect to see anything like that. All right, what's next?
Marvelous Mr. Mason says, I know there's zero chance, but I'd love to see, or I love a Daredevil Shang-Chi team up. Imagine that bus in a hallway fight, two dudes just wrecking fools together. F it, throw Peter in taking pictures to sell since he's gonna, since this is never gonna happen. Good vantage point options.
A Daredevil Shang-Chi team up becomes more interesting if, for some story reason, Shang-Chi is separated from the rings for a little while. Like, I had to leave the rings at wherever. I had to put them there because they have to absorb the power of the Nexus.
Because he'd just be using the power of the rings.
Oh, so he dies in the first episode is what we're saying. Because he aged.
What are you talking about?
I'm just kidding.
Shang-Chi did the bus scene without the rings.
Yeah.
You know what'd be really interesting, though? You brought up Spider-Man. There's a great little story in the comics where Shang-Chi decides to train Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And that could be really interesting. He's like, okay, you've got these powers, but y'all don't actually know how to fight. Let me teach you how to fight. I mean, that would be pretty cool.
That would.
That would be pretty cool. I'd be down for that. I don't think they're going to do it, but I would be down for that. All right, what's next?
Doomsday. Hey, John and Crew, is it possible Marvel moves or removes its film from its February 26th slate? Shouldn't we hear casting production updates by now and start filming like yesterday? Curious what other 26 movies we'll get besides Doomsday.
Possible. I mean, look, it's also very possible that they have some other movies in the pipeline that we don't know about yet. So, yeah, I mean, like, so... At one point, Disney put out a thing where they like designated certain days that they were going to have movies coming out. And oftentimes they don't announce what those movies are. The closer we get, though, to February, I don't know, maybe that was going to be a pie in the sky dream Blade date that they were holding for a while. Who knows? But at this point, being less than a year away, I mean, Spider-Man is going into production here very soon, but it won't be ready by February, I don't believe. So, yeah, very well, they could abandon that date. All right, what's next?
Ian says, not enough people are talking about the upcoming A24 film, The Legend of Ochi. It looks like a classic 80s fantasy movie, and it just looks so beautiful. Between this, Death of a Unicorn, How to Train Your Dragon, and others. This year is looking great for fantasy.
Man, I'll tell you what. I love it when I get these little notifications on my phone because Anne is connected, like we've connected our A-list memberships.
Yeah.
So your tickets are all set for Death of a Unicorn. I'm like, oh, so like I always love getting those little notifications when Anne keeps up better on when the tickets become available to movies than I do. So as soon as like there's a movie coming out that we're really looking forward to, she'll book them immediately and I'll get these notifications, which is great. I'm telling you what, I'm getting so excited for this Death of a Unicorn movie. I just watched an interview with Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. They have wonderful, just personal chemistry together. So I can't wait to see them as father and daughter in this. I think this movie looks bonkers. I think it looks great. I cannot wait to watch this one. All right, what's next?
Cody Hunt says, one of the things that Andor has to answer is what happened to Cassian's sister. That was a plot thread that I don't think paid off in season 1.
No, and they never made it an important part of season 1 either. Like, you understood that was part of Andor's, like, main motivation, but it never became a main thread of the season.
No.
Right? It was never became... Now, I do agree that I think this season we will find out what happened to his sister. This is the final season, after all. So
Yeah.
it's now or never. I'm not necessarily saying that his sister is going to be a big part of the season, but I think we are going to get an answer at some point.
It just seemed weird how they were like, just stop searching. And he was like, okay.
I tell you, I am kind of bummed out, though, that we're only getting 4 weeks of Andor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be 3 episodes a week.
It's a movie every week.
It's a movie every week, but I'm kind of bummed that we're only getting 4 weeks of it. Anyway. All
It's
right.
like the trilogy, another trilogy.
Yeah.
coming out.
A trilogy every week.
Zeno
All right, what's next?
says, hi, John. Just wanted to give a big shout out to The Wheel of Time Season 3. It's been amazing so far. I highly recommend that you start watching after you finish Reacher this Thursday. And for everyone else, please start now. Bring on the Season 4 renewal.
We have been getting absolutely inundated with people saying that season 3 of Wheel of Time has been
Yeah.
fantastic. Season 1 to me was okay. You know, it was good enough that I'll watch season 2 when it comes out and let's see how it goes. Season 2 was an improvement. Season 2 was quite good. It was good. But everybody's saying season 3 is like really good. So I'll look forward to getting on board with that one.
It's getting to the point of we get that comment so much that I think it's
It's almost
right-
every day now.
right there where you actually will.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
I was planning on it anyway because I've seen season 1 and 2. I was planning on watching season 3 at some point anyway. I'm gonna have to. You should start watching like right from season 1. You got the opportunity now. You should
Yeah.
go back, watch season 1, get all cut up, and then watch season 3. All right, what's next?
Cody Hunt follows up, says, I saw Magazine Dreams this weekend. Majors plays a very unhinged and violent character. There was absolutely no way Disney was going to release the film amid Majors' controversy.
Well, listen. I think the movie could have been about
Him petting puppies.
an ice cream loving shoe salesman.
Yeah.
And they were going to pull it.
Exactly.
They were clearly for a time trying to separate themselves from him. That was just a business decision. And again, one of the really unfortunate things about all this is that from all reports, the movie's quite good. And listen, whatever we all think about the controversy and the released audio tape and all that kind of stuff, one thing remains unchanged. Whether he's a great guy or a monster or whatever, he's a hell of an actor.
Yeah.
He's a hell of an actor. And I have zero surprise hearing from people saying, Jonathan Majors is really good in this movie. Not surprised at all. He's a great actor. And I think one of the really big, for average people, one of the really big unfortunate things of this is that we might be getting robbed of like one of our really good talents today. But anyway. All right, what's next?
CJ says, if you would have told me that Matt would only appear in the Daredevil costume in episode 1 and not since, I wouldn't have believed you, but because the writing and acting is so good, I'm not even complaining. This show is awesome.
Here's the thing, though. This is what makes it a little bit different. Unlike, say, something like, a good example would be Shazam, right? Where you don't just want to see Billy running around. Let's say they did a Shazam series. You don't just want to see Billy running around for 6 episodes before he finally says the word, lightning strikes, and then we finally see Shazam on screen. Matt is always Daredevil.
Yeah.
He's just not always wearing the costume, but he's Daredevil. And so, like, in episode 2, when those cops decide they're going to attack Matt, that's Daredevil. He may not have the mask on, but that's Daredevil.
That's him.
You know, so it's not as jarring
Yeah.
as it could be if it were some other characters. Now, if we never got to see Matt doing any Daredevil things,
Yeah.
that would also be a little bit different. But we've had a couple of key action sequences already, and I have a feeling with the double D tonight, I have a feeling we're about to get, I think we're about to get a big action sequence with him and Punisher.
But it also feels like this whole season is about him trying to fight off that urge of getting in that suit, right? So it's kind of like losing
that urge.
It's only brought him the death of his friend now and things like that. So it makes sense, because I said before the season started, I was like, don't tell me it's going to be the last episode when we get him back in that suit. Remember I said that? And then we're kind of like, maybe not, whatever. But now it makes sense. Like, yeah. I'm okay with it. Before the season started, I was like, dude, they better not do that. But now it's all fine. It's just the writing of the show has been great so far.
So good. It's been so, I just, every episode has been better than the last. You guys know, I had some apprehension about this season of Daredevil because of what the showrunner was saying, stuff like that. I was starting to get nervous, but it has been wonderful. All right, what's next?
Garaby says, hey, John and crew, I noticed today that AMC A-list is increasing its movies per week from 3 to 4 now. I assume price will increase as well, but this is great because sometimes I wish I had one more spot open to reserve a movie. Thank you all for what you do.
See, here's the thing. AMC A-list has been, what, 20 something bucks,
Yeah,
right?
and then it went up to like 24.
For years.
Yeah.
They haven't had any price increases. Unlike, say, Netflix that has price increases every Thursday, it feels like. But here's the other thing about it. You know what makes a price increase a little bit more easier to swallow? There are two things. One, if you hardly ever do it. But the second thing that makes a price increase easier to swallow is if when they increase the price, they give you more. Now look, you know I have been very critical of AMC theaters, but I still have a deep place of love for them in my heart at the same time. The one thing they have crushed has always been their A-list program. Their A-list program is the best thing in movie going. So I've been paying the exact same price for A-list for years without any price increase. Now they've increased it, what, $2 or something like that? I can't remember
it's not
exactly.
Much. It's still, it's
not
still
much.
20s.
But not only is it the first price increase in years, they're now giving you 4 more free movies a month.
Yeah.
So now we've gone from 12 movies a month to 16 movies a month.
And at the same time they're doing that, they're giving you a second tier option where you can do like 15 a month for like a movie a week.
I didn't know they introduced another tier.
Yeah, I believe there's another tier. I got to look into that.
So for the price of 1 movie ticket, you can go see 4 movies a month.
I think
that's
so,
amazing.
Yeah. It's so amazing that I believe at CinemaCon, live with me filming, you hug Adam Aaron and say sorry.
Yeah, that won't happen. All right.
No, he's going to say, that's my idea.
All right, what's next?
Jedi Master Super Mario says, saw Death of a Unicorn last night and it was fun. Basically Jurassic Park mixed with dark comedy. 7 out of 10.
Where did you see Death of a Unicorn?
Maybe it was like one of those
maybe that
free
mystery
movies.
things?
Yeah.
Was it like part of the mystery screening thing?
Maybe.
You know what? I gave up on the mystery screening stuff because they were always showing crap.
I know.
Lately, I'm hearing them actually showing some legitimately good movies during these mystery screening nights. I might have to start going to these again.
You ever have that, you always hear about the issues of being an early adopter to anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, what's next?
Okay, we got Ronetta W says, hi y'all, if this is true about Superman, Minecraft got my ticket. I'm on the AMC A list, so I'm good. Just let me know. Also, just finished Paradise. Holy, it was so good. The writing and the acting is phenomenal. Season 2, can't wait.
Paradise was a very pleasant surprise. Now, of course, you had Shirley K. Brown starring in it, which is great. I love James Marsden, which is great. The woman, I don't know her name off the top of my head, but the woman who plays Sinatra in it, I've always, whenever she pops up in something, I've always liked her. It's just a really good show. Now, it's just finished, but it's available on Hulu. You can go and binge the whole season right now. We were just talking about how it's tough to keep up with all the great television right now. Paradise is one of the things you should catch up on.
Yeah.
The first season's now done. I think it's 8 episodes. I can't remember, but it's a wonderful show. Go check it out. It's great.
I also didn't realize, I know we're talking about this A-list thing a lot, but I just looked up the price ranges. I didn't realize it wasn't nationwide. So like in California and New York, it's going up to $27.99.
Yep.
But it says it ranges from $19.99 to $25 in other states. So it's
only going up to 27?
Yeah, and in other states from 19 to 25 because it's basing it on like averages by state. You know what I mean for price levels. So that's
cool.
So
if movie but you know what was movie pass was the same way. It was a little, you had to pay a little bit more if you were in New York or Los Angeles, stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's $27.99
seriously,
for us.
think about this. $27. If I bought a ticket today to go see something in an AMC Prime theater with Dolby, I'm probably paying $17. For $10 more, I get 16 movies a month. Guys, that's insane value. That is insane value. I really like the idea that if you're finally going to do a price increase, don't just increase the price and give us nothing extra for it. They actually gave more for the higher price. It's a really good move. Listen, I have a lot of criticisms for AMC theaters, but give credit where it's due. This is a really, really good move on their part. All right, what's next?
John, not from Canada, says, hey guys, don't know if you guys saw, but Netflix released a new reality show called Inside by the YouTube group Sidemen. What is interesting is that they release an episode a day for a week straight. What are your thoughts on this release strategy?
Since I never heard of the show or the people involved, which is fine, I'm sure they've never heard of me either.
I think generally, though, even if you were talking about binge everything in one day or one day a week, I don't know. What's the difference?
Okay, so I applaud Netflix for at least over the last couple of years, they've been experimenting with different release strategies, right? Like it used to just be drop the whole season on one day. Well, then they started, okay, well, let's release it over a couple of weeks. Now let's release it this. And you know, I respect that they're testing out things. I think like maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's not, but I respect that they're testing it. See, I don't know about releasing one episode a day because that doesn't really, you don't get the benefit of weekly releases where you put out an episode, hopefully it's great. Then you've got a week where people can catch up with it, talk about it, buzz about it, let the word spread about it. Then the next week come out. So I don't know if it's going to work, but I respect testing it because you never know. Maybe it does. Mm-hmm. All right, what's next?
Antonio says, with Alien and Predator both coming back from the dead, what long dormant franchise would you like to see make a surprise comeback?
As a series?
Anything, just coming back, like
one that maybe ran its course and died out.
Yeah, and
what could come back and return,
and the quality has returned. You know.
Man, that's a really good question. I mean, somebody's saying in Marcus Y in the live chat is saying The Last Starfighter. That wasn't a franchise. That was a one-shot movie. And I've been saying for decades that it's time to do a reboot. They need to reboot The Last Starfighter.
I would be okay with a new RoboCop, but as a series where he takes on like more in-depth cases. I don't know if that would make sense. That sounds really dumb because, you know, anytime someone does something, he just kills them, right? There's no.
Dan's Gaming is saying A Nightmare on Elm Street. Didn't they already try to reboot that? Remember they had the guy who played Rorschach, Haley, Joe Haley, I can't remember the actor's name. He's got three names in his name.
He was in Bad News Bears.
Jackie Earle Haley. That's who it was.
I always remember Jackie Earle Haley from Bad News Bears when he was a teen actor.
I had no idea he was in that.
Oh yeah, he was a kid.
So they already tried rebooting that one. Friday the 13th. Listen, they just announced that Linda Cardinelli, I think that's how you pronounce her last name, that she's going to be starring in a new Friday the 13th prequel series. I think it's going to be called Crystal Lake.
Oh, I thought it was Thursday the 12th.
Thursday the 12th.
Thursday the 12th. Come on.
That was low hanging fruit I had.
The prequel series, Thursday the 12th.
12th.
But they just announced she's going to be starring in a Friday the 13th prequel series.
All right.
So they've tried rebooting Friday the 13th as well. I had a friend of mine, America Olivo, was in that movie, and that Jared Padalecki from Supernatural was in it. So they tried rebooting Friday the 13th. I honestly don't think there's an audience for Friday the 13th anymore, to be honest with you. I don't know if that one would be there. All right, what's next?
King Peach says, hi, John and company. So I saw the first episode of the studio, and the second episode is about a director trying to get a one-take movie, and the episode itself is a one-take. How meta is this?
Again, I apparently they dropped the episodes today. I got to watch it. I cannot wait. But trying to shoot a one-shot movie while doing the entire episode of one-shot that's a pretty great idea. I can't wait to see this.
All right, we got Forbidden. I hope enough time has passed to say this, but have you seen the Avengers West Coast number 56 issue Easter egg in the Electric State? Look it up. It's very interesting.
I have not. I'll be honest with you. I didn't even watch Electric State. I just heard too many people say it's bad, and I like the Russo brothers. This happens to me when I start hearing like if I hear bad things about a movie, I'll often still check out the movie. But if I hear bad things about a movie where I know somebody in it or I really like somebody in it, I tend to then avoid it because I don't want to be disappointed. So even though I love the Russo brothers, I've just heard too many bad things about the Electric State. So I haven't watched it.
To be fair to you, you've never really totally been 100% on board with the.
No, I never thought the trailers were good
so
either.
It's like, I get it. So
Yeah, I never once thought the trailers for Electric State looked good either. So have not seen that one myself. All right, what's next?
Okay, last of the tips. Yikes says the Quorum released early tracking for Thunderbolts. It has a lower awareness and interest score than Final Destination, which releases 2 weeks later. Pretty tough forecast 6 weeks out. Matt Bellany covered it in his newsletter.
I have zero doubt that the Thunderbolts is going to make more money at the box office than Final Destination. Zero doubt.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got ahead of Thunderbolts question because when we were talking about the Minecraft possibly screening, I'm getting excited that I think they will show Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I think there's okay. Here's the biggest thing working against it. Because Thunderbolts opens soon. So I think there's a good chance that they show us Thunderbolts. But they won't screen 2 movies. And you know what one they might screen instead of Thunderbolts? Another movie coming out soon. Lilo and Stitch.
I'm going with Thunderbolts. Lilo says there's too much money there where they could take that risk. I think Thunderbolts a month before. How long was it when they showed Shang-Chi?
2 months before Shang-Chi came out.
So it's not out of the question that they'll show Thunderbolts a month before.
No, it's a strong possibility.
Because the screenings that I've always watched that when I've gone to CinemaCon, I think the furthest one out was maybe almost a month, something like that. I mean, wait, The Flash. The Flash had to be the biggest gap.
Well, also Joyride was like
the biggest
3
gap.
months.
Yeah, that was a big gap.
Joyride
too.
was like 3 months before
I
it
take
came
that
out.
back.
But Top Gun Maverick was almost 3 months before it came out too.
I just during the show today, as we were talking about that Superman Minecraft, and I was looking up the release calendar, I saw Thunderbolts, and it just hit me that we might be able to see that movie, and I'm really excited. I want to see the Century. This is going to be one of my most anticipated movies this year.
Yeah, I mean, Kane Legion just said something in live chat that's very, very wrong. Lilo and Stitch or Superman does not need CinemaCon press. Absolutely, they do. Because you could say Top Gun Maverick doesn't need CinemaCon press. Yeah, it did. Superman especially, because again, this is the single most important film of the year. I'm not saying it's going to be the best film of the year, but it's the most important one. They are trying to launch an entire new cinematic universe that should be the cash cow of that entire company. It is essential. It's vital. They need not just for this movie to be great. They need for awareness to get out there. They need to get the movie theaters excited. They need to get the theaters committing tons of screens to it. Same can be said of Lilo and Stitch. Like, yes, the movie's going to be big, but they want it to be really big. That's why they bring films like Top Gun Maverick and things like that to CinemaCon and play them there in their entirety, because they're trying to really get the movie. Because remember, especially with Superman, the movie theaters got burned with the DCEU. The movie theaters committed tons of marketing space in their buildings and tons of screens to DCEU movies. And what happened? The DCEU movies bit them in the ass. If there's anybody out there that Warner Brothers really needs to win over with this new DC project, it's Superman. They need to win the movie theaters back over with that. So that doesn't mean they will show Superman at it. It's starting to look like they won't. But if you don't think they need the big press, you don't understand how marketing works. They absolutely, listen, there's a reason why the movie that spent the most money in cinematic history on its marketing campaign was Avengers Endgame. Everybody said, oh, they don't even need to, you don't even need to put out trailers for that. You don't even need to market that. There's a reason Endgame, I believe right now, sits as the second biggest movie in Hollywood history, because they did spend that much money on it, because they did market the hell out of it, because they did know they needed to get it in front of people. Everybody who ever says, oh, they didn't need that. Oh, yes, they did. That's the difference between a $2 billion film and a $3 billion film.
I hate to switch it a little bit, but with CinemaCon, a lot of us are looking forward to for the footage, the movie previews, whatever,
just
right?
Just the presentations.
Right,
yes,
right.
Just the presentations.
But there is one studio that I look forward to, and it doesn't matter what they show. It's the person who actually talks. It's Paramount. I cannot wait to see.
Paramount always does such a great job.
That dude that talks for them, if he's the CEO or whatever.
The president of the company, yeah.
It almost feels like I
don't know if he's still there, though.
Oh.
I don't know that he's still there, because he always does a great job.
There's a connection that like he makes with just like general audience that I always felt from him, that like I was looking forward to seeing. Now he kind of just broke my heart that he might not be there this year.
All right, what's next?
Okay, so now we can hear from our channel members. So Z Thomas says, hi all, maybe this is a better question for Jonathan, but with so many great movies coming out this year, how do you balance seeing movies with having really young kids, expecting my first in the next few weeks? Congratulations. Is that a wait and watch at home? I mean, that's just something you kind of have to work out in your own household. Maybe you guys take turns, you and your wife going to see a movie, like one stays with a baby or whatever, or something like that. Or since it's a newborn, you're just going to have to like take one on the chin and miss a few. My kids aren't that young anymore. Like my youngest is going to be 16 this year. So they're like 16, 18, and 20, but I'm kind of beyond that. At this point, they're the ones going out and seeing movies all the time. But yeah, I was just thinking, because we were talking about A-list, it's like, you know, if I was a single person, I'd probably be going like 3 or 4 times a week to movies, because I would just go. I'm on A-list. But yeah, when you got a family, you gotta like, kind of like, I get away with one a week sometimes.
Yeah, when I lived in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, which I lived there for a few years, there's a couple, 2 of my best friends when I was living there, they had 5 kids.
Yeah.
All young. And one of the things that I really learned from them was, listen, like when you have kids, you still have to make sure that for your own sanity, to be a better parent, you need to be able to get out.
Yeah.
And so they could clearly not go to 3 movies a week.
Yeah.
But they would go out to movies 2-3 times a month.
Yeah, you make it work.
Yeah, you make it work.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Alan says, hi, John and crew. John, I watched your financial top video, and it has helped me budget a lot better. Through this, I decided to cut some streaming services like Peacock. How could you? And Apple, if you had to switch streaming services, what would you cut out?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know what he's talking about, I often get a lot of people asking me about how I handle my money and finances and stuff like that. And just as a quick recap, I won't go through every single point. And this isn't anything new. This is just, I made a little video about the best pieces of financial advice I've gotten and that I kind of live my life by. One of them is spend less money than you make. Mm-hmm. The best piece of financial advice I ever got was from my dad, who said this to me once, and it has stuck with me for my entire life. My dad said this: if you're looking at buying something and you don't have the money in your bank account to buy it in cash right now, that means you can't afford it. Don't buy it. The third thing I live by, I never touch my credit card. Sometimes I will, just to get some points on something, and then as soon as I buy it, I go to my bank account online, transfer money out of my account into it, and I pay it off that moment, that day.
Well, that's what I do with my AMC Theaters Visa, because I get extra points for concession,
Yeah.
but I pay it immediately.
Yeah, so you're not really treating it like a credit card. So number one, look at track your spending and make sure that the number that comes out to is less than the money you're making every month. If you can't buy something in cash, mentally know that means you can't afford it. Listen, there's a reason I drove my father-in-law's old car for like 6 years. And before that, I was driving a car I had bought 6 years before that. I didn't buy a new car for almost 12 years. You know why? Because I don't buy something that I have to pay off. And if I don't have the money to buy it, that means I can't afford it, and I just go without. And so for 12 years, I saved, and I saved, and I saved, and I saved, and I saved, until finally I had the money to buy the car that I wanted. Then I bought the car. And the only exception to that, I've told myself my whole life, the only exception I have to something I will go into debt for is when I buy a house, because I'll never have the money to just buy a house outright. But other than that, I never let myself go into debt. Anyway, you can go find the video where I talk more about this and all that kind of stuff. But if I was in a position that I had to cut some streaming, and I'm very lucky I'm in a position that I can have all the streaming services, but if I had to cut some, which would be the ones that, listen, I like them all. Woo, I hate saying it. The first one I would cut is Paramount Plus. I really do like it. I'm watching Matlock on it. I like Paramount, but that would be the first one that I would cut.
Which sucks because it's like the cheapest one out of all of them too.
Yeah,
at the
it
same
is.
Well,
time.
Peacock is.
That and Apple. That and Apple are the cheapest
And Apple,
ones.
yeah.
I think I'm paying, or I was, but I can't. I did guess. It was $5.99 for me, Paramount Plus.
It was like that for a while.
It was.
but
I think it's gone up a little
It's
bit.
like
Apple
11
was also
something
like
now.
5 something a month
Yeah.
too. And then after that, I really like Peacock as well.
Yeah. I don't have Netflix. It's the only one I don't have because it's the most expensive.
Yeah, Anne watches too much stuff on Netflix. I could never get rid of Netflix. So I think the only 3 core that I wouldn't touch are Apple, Disney Plus, and Netflix. All the rest of them, those are the ones I would look at cutting out first. I would hate it though.
Oh man, you know what would be a tough question? If like the next month you took a trip to a place that you can only have one streaming service. It's like in the law at that place.
Yep, you got one
In the
streaming service.
in the following month, you have the studio. You have Andor. Which one would you
that on
take?
Apple?
Yeah.
Studios, Apple would be so hard to get rid. You got Severance, you got Ted Lasso, you got Shrinking, you now got the studio, you've got For All Mankind, you've got that would be a tough one to give up, man. And Max, I would just never get rid of HBO Max because of the catalog.
Right. But I never opened that when I'm here. The only reason why I haven't kept watching Paradise is because I can only watch it here. I don't have Hulu. So I've
Right.
only been episode 1. I want to continue that. But
You get so much.
HBO
with
Max-
Hulu,
That's
though.
Hulu, not HBO Max.
Yeah.
Yeah, but HBO Max at the same time, it's like, I know what library it has, but that's the one, it has a lot of stuff. I rarely open, I only watch the new series that they have
Yeah.
on.
Right. All right, what's next?
Okay, we got Akshay says, how successful Daredevil has been over the years, why doesn't Feige / MCU make a theatrical film for Daredevil?
Because there wouldn't be enough audience for it.
Yeah, Daredevil was one of the more B-list actors in Marvel Comics history, but that's not now. I could see him in a film at this point, the way they've structured him, but not carrying his own.
Yeah, look, here's the problem. People overestimate how many people watched Daredevil on Netflix.
Mhm.
They overestimated it. And now, even with Daredevil Born Again, as great as it is, more people, guys, listen to this, more people watched Agatha.
Yeah.
Did you know that? More people, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when the numbers came out, more people watched Agatha than watched it. So and it's tough taking a TV character and bringing them to the big screen. So I think wisely, that's why Kevin Feige didn't do a Daredevil movie. And they've done a Daredevil movie that didn't do all that great.
And
So
that's not really a knock on the actor or any of
no,
the writers.
not at all. It's great. Daredevil's wonderful.
Some things are just made for home, to watch at home.
Yeah.
Like to flesh out that character, you need more episodes, not a full movie. You can't. It's such a complex world that he lives in, and a job and things like that you rather see him in a series.
All right, what's next?
Lori Howard says, hi, Campy Chris. Anyone see the new Kerry Washington trailer called Shadow Force? Looks like a sequel to Back in Action with a new crew. Looks fun to me.
Okay, so, and I'm trying to remember the name of the guy that's in it with her. So, number one, horrible title.
Yeah.
I remember I watched a big preview for this. I can't remember why I saw it, but I saw a big preview for it like 3 or 4 months ago.
Oh, okay, I see it. Okay.
Here's the thing. We've had so many movies and shows come out. Like Mark Wahlberg just had a movie out where it's like, oh, turns out dad's actually a super spy and he's been hiding it from his family the whole time. Like, I feel like we've seen 20 of these in the last few years. So this new Kerry, if I'm thinking of the right one, and I
Kerry
think
Washington,
I am.
Mark Strong.
Yeah, Mark Strong's in it. That's right. It's a mom and dad. Turns out they're super duper super spies and their kids never knew. And now now their worlds have crossed over and now their kids got to know that they're super. Like, I feel like we've seen that 100 times. Listen, it's Kerry Washington. I love her. I'll probably give it a shot. I just feel like the premise is something I've seen done 1,000 times lately.
Glad to see Marvin Jones III is in this.
Who's that again?
He's from Black Lightning, the bad guy.
Oh,
with the deep voice.
Yeah, what was his name in that? His character had an awesome name.
Kronda? No.
Marvin,
wait.
No, he had just the
Tobias
name.
Whale.
Tobias. That was, I love that name. Tobias. There's something that just sounds powerful about that name. Anyway. All right, what's next?
This is our last of the tips here, or not tips, member questions. Dark Knight says, "What's up, Camp Crew? I have a thought that they would have Doom battle and kill Wong. I think it would show that he's a serious problem and hit us in the feels."
Wong's great, and Wong would hit us in the feels.
Wong was almost killed by Wanda, so.
But yeah, Wong isn't even Doctor. Like, remember when they wanted to show that Thanos was a badass, they got the biggest guy on the block. They got Hulk, and they had him fight Hulk. I think getting them to fight Wong doesn't do much. So yeah, I don't think it would be Wong. It'd have to be one of the more. Now, it is true, as of right now, Wong is technically the Sorcerer Supreme, but even now they kind of imply that Doctor Strange is more powerful and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it would be Wong. I don't think it would be Wong. All right. And guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported our channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. I want to thank the people in the room with me, Ray Ora.
Hey, see you guys tomorrow.
I want to thank Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
And hey guys, just so you know, I don't know if you can bring this up, but later tonight, of course, probably around 8:30 or 9 p.m., we're going to be doing our Daredevil post-game show after our Double D, 2 episodes of Daredevil tonight. Come on back and join me later this evening where we get to talk in full open spoilery detail about the episodes. Hopefully I'll get to see you guys then. All right. So for Ray Ora, Jonathan Voico, special thanks to Chris Carr. My name's John Campea. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.
Double D.
Double D.